what's coming to dinner? Okay, it's starting. Yay! Woohoo!
Right.
You say you're not in a good mood? What happened?
Who said that?
No, he is. Okay. It's all right. All right. We're here. Another episode. I am one of the hosts, Dara Lashley.
I'm Salome Danoon.
And I'm Michael Dwayne Paylor.
And you guys, today we have the wonderful, I know, drum roll, right? Actor. Okay, let me get it all. Filmmaker. Actor, painter, musician, artist. What am I missing?
Sculptor.
Writer, sculptor, director.
Yeah.
Michael James Mina.
We forgot he plays the piano.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, we are so excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so
Thank you.
Yay! Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Yay!
We're gonna have a good time. We've eaten ramen. We're ready.
Michael,
Yeah.
you're one of the guests that I requested to be on the show like a long time ago. Because I watched a lot of your stuff, especially when we were in class together. And hearing your perspective, I was like, I feel like he has a lot that he could contribute as far as the business of acting and all that stuff. So I'm really happy that you came on the show.
Thank you for saying that, man. It's very encouraging. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thanks.
Yeah. I was very excited to hear from Dara. Dara, right?
Dara.
Dara. I'm sorry.
That's
I never,
okay. It's
Dara.
okay. Everybody.
Even though you just said it like 2 minutes ago. It's not you, it's me. Dara reached out to me like, I think it was probably like in the summer. And I was like,
Yeah.
yo, let's go. So I've had this on my calendar. I've been excited.
Yay!
Yeah.
Woo, 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 woo.
We have to do the actor. Who is it this week?
Eddie Murphy.
Oh, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go. All right.
Did y'all see the trailer that he's in Beverly Hills Cop 4?
No, I did
No.
not see
Coming
that.
on Netflix.
Oh, nice. I didn't see that.
That's why it's on Netflix now. I've been seeing it. I'm like, wow, Beverly Hills Cop. I haven't watched this in so long.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's on Netflix. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, I should
That's
watch
gonna
it.
be funny.
Yeah.
That's going to be funny.
So, Eddie Murphy, born on April 3rd. April 3rd, what does that make him? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's the day after April Fool's Day, right? Or no? Yeah,
A couple
second,
days.
2 days.
2 days after.
Anyway, it makes him something in the astrological plane that we're not really clear. But he was born in 1961 in Brooklyn, New York, and he's an iconic American comedian, actor, writer, and singer. You know what just crossed my mind, Michael? A couple years from now, some kids are going to have a podcast, and they'll be doing an actor segment about you.
Wow, you think so?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so back to Eddie Murphy. He rose to fame in the 1980s as a cast member on the popular sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live, where his comedic talents and versatility became evident. Oh yeah, he was really cool. Anyway, Murphy's memorable characters on SNL, such as Gumby and Buckwheat, I remember Buckwheat, contributed to his rapid ascent to stardom. In the early 1980s, Murphy transitioned to the big screen and quickly became one of Hollywood's biggest box office draws. He achieved massive success with hit films like 48 Hours, Trading Places, where I was introduced to him, and Beverly Hills Cops. We just said that, right? Beverly Hills Cops? Cool. The latter, released in 1984, solidified his status as a leading man in the industry and remains one of the highest grossing comedies of all times. We're gonna skip down because I feel like I'm talking too much. Anyway, throughout his career, Eddie Murphy has received numerous accolades, including Golden Globe Awards, Primetime Emmy Awards, and a Special Achievement Award from the NAACP. No, how do you say that?
NAACP.
NAACP. Don't take my black card, people. I couldn't read it. And so anyway, his influence on comedy and entertainment, particularly for African American performers, is widely recognized, and he's regarded as one of the greatest stand-up comedians and comedic actors in the history of American entertainment. Eddie Murphy's enduring legacy continues to inspire new generations of comedians and actors. Eddie Murphy.
Very cool. I love Eddie. Does anyone have a favorite Eddie? A favorite Eddie movie?
My favorite Eddie is Coming to America. It's my own time.
Yeah.
favorite.
You see the newer one? It came out like a year or two ago.
I
Yeah.
could have did without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so Eddie Murphy also did the SNL skit with James. He was James Brown in the hot tub, right? You guys ever seen that? So funny. My dad introduced me to that. I was like, no, this is so funny. But for sure, my favorite movie definitely is The Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
Like
Nutty
that scene when they're at the
Professor.
table and it's like Hercules. I used to watch that all the time. Man.
Oh my goodness.
Do we have
Yeah.
the history of our ramen that we ate?
No.
Oh, snap.
Oh, yes! My time! Because if you remember, one time I forgot something. Michael, did you see that?
No.
I forgot something that I had to do, and Michael laid into my ass, and he was so rude. I'll show it to you. I'll go back
She's
and
not gonna
tag
show
you
it
in
to
it.
you.
I will.
We had the receipts.
We do
Okay.
have receipts.
Receipts.
I'll tag you in it later. So now let me lay into your ass. How can you forget that you had an assignment for the show?
One job.
You
bro.
want to know why?
Why?
Because we didn't have a meeting on Thursday. Like,
Lies.
No, you did
Lies.
What was that?
Lies.
I don't know.
No.
But we were supposed to have one and we didn't. Somebody was
No,
like,
no, no.
let's just do it on text.
No, the person, it came, would you prefer to have this meeting on text?
Okay, let's be professional here.
Yeah, this is
We
spicy.
have Michael as our guest.
This is spicy.
Let's not waste this man's time
that's okay.
with these shenanigans.
No, I like this.
Let's
Is good. I
move
think you
on.
guys should work this out now. Pull the veil. Show people what goes on behind the scenes. Go ahead. Jump into it.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
No.
Anyway.
I kind of want to see it.
So we're
All
just
right,
gonna
that's fine.
jump right on in to
Yeah.
let me ask you something.
Okay.
Let's get to these questions.
Michael, what inspired you to be an actor?
You want like a long story or short story?
Anyhow you want to tell the story. I like things very long.
Hey yo. Like seriously. Hey yo. Okay. Well, it's not like a happy story at first, but like I said, it's becoming happy. But my best friend Jimmy passed away, like in 2017, the end of 2017. He accidentally overdosed. So I was about to graduate college with like a finance degree. My parents are very traditional, so like I had to go to college. So, but Jimmy was the one who like inspired me to get this finance degree because he was like kind of like a business guy and like a smooth talker. But he passed away at the end of 2017, and I was graduating like a few days later, and I had this job, and I was like sitting at this job for 2 months, and I was like, you know, my life could end tomorrow. I don't want to, you know, waste my life. So it's pretty wild, but I had this dream. I was like, now I'm a Christian, but I wasn't at the time. And I had this dream where it was so real. It was like a dream, but it wasn't a dream. And long story short, I was like taken into a movie theater with no seats in it. Like I would go up this dark staircase into this movie theater and there's no seats. And I turned towards the screen and my whole life started playing before my eyes. Like real things had happened, like on this screen, and the screen was like in front of me, but I was also like in the screen, and all these things started playing. And the one thing that stuck out the most to me was this memory that I remember from when I was little. I like went to Catholic school, and I guess there was some event where I was like on stage, like in a nativity thing, and I was watching this, but I was watching this from like a different perspective. Like if I was in the middle of the altar thing, I was like over here watching myself. And no one had to tell me. I just like knew I was standing where Jesus was standing, watching me. And he literally said to me, he was like, I've never left you. And then after that, things started playing in my life that were going to happen in the future. And there was one which hasn't happened yet, so I like won't say what it is, but that's how I knew like this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. So that was like pretty. I never acted, never like did any of that stuff.
Wow.
And I was so scared. I was so nervous. Like I was like, I don't know anything. I was very intimidated. So, but that's how it like started. It's
Whoa.
So when you woke up, what were your steps to?
The first thing I did, I just told my mom. It didn't feel like this big like existential thing. It felt so, it was like, you know, if I asked you like about you and Dara meeting, Dara. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm gonna get it. It's just like, it happened. I was just telling my mom like, this just happened, and I like knew that it was real, and so then I like didn't follow it right away. I was at the time like making YouTube videos, like vlogging, and I quit my job, and I felt super depressed one night, and I was just watching like these old reruns of David Letterman, and he was interviewing James Franco. For whatever reason, I was watching this, I don't know. And so I got the idea, I was like, I wonder where James Franco went to acting school. So I Googled it, and on his Wikipedia page, it said he went to Playhouse West. So I looked at Playhouse West, and it said there's one in LA, and then there's one in Philly. So I looked up the website for the school, and it said that you could audit Tuesday, Thursday, and this was a Wednesday night. And I think this dream that I had, and then I was just like so depressed at the time, I was like, I'm just gonna go tomorrow. So I just went. I didn't tell anybody, like didn't tell my parents. I just went, and I remember, it sounds super dramatic, but it's true. I was like walking up the stairs. It was the old theater. There's an old theater in Fishtown. I was like walking up the stairs, and I like knew I was like stepping into the rest of my life. Like I knew I was about to walk into what I was made to do. Whether that's acting or filmmaking, or I don't know what that means, but I just had this feeling like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It was, but it doesn't feel like it to other people. When I tell them that story, it feels like this like amazing thing, and it is an amazing thing, but it's been super difficult, and I'm scared most of the time, and nervous, and feel inadequate compared to like other people who do it. So.
Wow.
But it's been good the past 4 years, 5 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't show.
Yeah.
No.
Because you present yourself very confidently. So who in the industry inspire you?
Like now or at the beginning?
Beginning and now.
I think at the beginning I was very inspired by. It's strange, at the time I was inspired by that guy Timothy Chalamet, because I was like, I wouldn't say we look the same, but I felt some kind of like, oh, maybe we could be the same kind of actor, and he seems cool, and we might be similar. But now, man, we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Because he's so fearless,
Yeah.
and he's not. You know, there's some actors who are like concerned about their image, and they want to do certain roles to like help their image. But he seems so free and fearless.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of acting I want to do. So, yeah, I'd definitely say Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Since 2017, you've done a lot of work. I mean, honestly, I've seen so much of your films and you on stage at like scene dates and everything. And I'm wondering, what's been your favorite role to play on and off stage?
That's a good question. I think probably the one, I made a film called The Boy in the Magnolia Tree.
Oh, yes, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, probably that one. The role I liked a lot, but just the topic was like so.
Yeah.
Long story short, this woman Rochelle, she's like a really good friend of mine, lost her
Hilarious,
dog. Dude, she's so funny.
Hilarious.
She's like Robin Williams. She's the female version of Robin Williams. Have you met her?
No, I don't
Bro,
know.
she would like.
Hilarious.
You've seen her though.
Yeah, you've definitely
you've seen her.
Like you
Yeah.
can't like she's so funny. It's like you don't even like her brain is like amazing. But she lost her daughter in 2002. Her daughter was like 2 years old. Oh my God. Fell into their pool. And, so she told me this story, and we decided to make a film about it. And so that was that was the first film I made where I was like, man, this could really have, art really has an impact on people.
Oh, for sure.
It's
Oh my God,
important.
yeah.
Growing up in a very traditional family, like if you're not a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, like it's not important.
Yeah.
But that was when I first realized, like, oh, art is like very, very powerful.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
It's very
Yeah.
important. It sounds very like woo-woo or spiritual, but like if you sit and you, I don't know, look at paintings by a famous painter, or read poetry by a famous poet, or read a book, it's like sitting down and spending time with them.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
talking to you and teaching you, and their
Yeah.
words, even though they might be dead, they still speak to you.
Yeah.
And you see life from their perspective. And so it's very powerful.
It's like entering their world,
Yeah.
and it's a very generous thing to do, to be invited or to invite someone else into your world.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't. They're guarded.
They're guarded, and yeah, that's very well said actually, because you're inviting them into your world, and by doing that, you're admitting I could learn something from this person.
Yeah.
Whereas there's a lot of people who they have the mindset there's nothing more to learn, they don't need to learn, they know everything, and so.
I just came across somebody who said, like, it's really sad when you think you know everything because you don't. And very intelligent people know that they don't know anything. And there's like a whole world of things that we don't know.
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
Erykah Badu said, a man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all.
Isn't that amazing,
Yep.
the dichotomy of that?
Yeah.
The people who know the least are the ones who think they know everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
And
Yep.
the most intelligent, like the
Yep.
most wise, admit they know nothing.
Yeah.
It's pretty
We
amazing.
know.
Yeah.
Think about all the information there is in the world. Like,
Yeah.
you know less than 1% of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
And
It's-
not only that, we only know what we've been exposed to, like
Right.
our lives and the people that we encounter. There's, yeah,
It's like a grain of sand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It makes you excited though to keep
Yeah, going,
right?
It's like
never
and,
ending.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You learn something new every single day.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the history of ramen. I didn't know.
Yeah, no, okay, no idea.
Because of the light that you shed upon us. I eat ramen so differently.
I mean, you have to at this point.
my god.
It tastes different. I can taste the history, you know?
That's the flavor.
Oh, that couldn't have been more perfect.
I know.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
I got you.
That's my burn.
So, you're on their side. Is what you're saying.
Nah, I'm on the side of truth, bro.
As we all should be.
Moving along.
Michael, how do you balance pursuing acting while managing other aspects of your life?
I think, like, by not placing my identity in acting, like, if my identity becomes about what I'm doing as an actor or what I'm doing as an artist, I'm like, doomed. I have to, like, keep my identity rooted in something that isn't, like, my performance, because how often are we making art? Like, the part that's seen, at least, if my identity is rooted in making movies or acting, I'll probably only be happy when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time I'll be miserable. So I think, like, allowing myself, like, okay, I don't have to always be acting. I don't have to do this to prove to people that I'm enough. It's okay to do other forms of art or do things that nobody will see. And ironically, talking about the dichotomy of admitting I know nothing and being smart, like, by letting go, like having an open hand with acting or art, you then start learning about all this other stuff that might not apply on the surface, but it starts feeding into your art,
Yeah.
and you grow and become
Yeah.
a well-rounded human. Not that I am yet, but that's the goal. So
When did you make that discovery about not rooting yourself in acting?
I think it's definitely been a process. I mean, a big part of it is like my faith. Like, if I was given this calling, it's not about like me. It's not about me earning it. Like, that calling for my life and for each of our lives exists apart from our performance or trying to do it. Like, our destiny will happen if we flow with it. We don't have to hold on to it and prove like this is me, this is who I am. Our identity isn't that. Our identity is us as humans, like who we are, who you are, who you guys are. And the art is just what we do, what we bring to others to help them then walk in their identity. But it's been a process. It's been, I'll root myself in that, and then I'll become depressed and discouraged and anxious and feel inadequate, and then I have to like take a step back and like let go and surrender it, and then it comes back, if that makes sense.
It does.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Because
That's so relatable.
I think a lot of people, myself included, they lean on labels a lot and job titles. And if you were something and then you no longer was that thing, like you might fall into a depression. Like if you were a doctor and then you lost that job and it's like, well, what am I now? And in a way, I was like in a place where I thought what I truly am is an actor. What I do, whether it's for like work or money, isn't who I am. But your perspective of I'm not an actor either, that's another thing that I do, is like, I don't know, it's opening my mind up to different possibilities, not to label myself as that either. Like it's art, it's something that I do.
Exactly, because the thing is, like, each of us, we're tools, for good or for bad in the world. Everything we do, every word we say, like our words, this is kind of a side note, but it's related, our words are so important. I could say something to you and it can make you feel sick. It can make you feel anxious. It's like a thing. Maya Angelou said that. She said, one day, I think that you're going to be able to measure the power of words. And that's why she said she's so careful about the words she uses in her house. She thinks the words can get in your carpets and in the paint in your walls. And so it's so important. But the thing about a tool is, if each of us are tools, a tool by itself is nothing. It's in someone's hand. And the power is whose hand it's in. Whether it's in a hand that wants to use it for good or a hand that wants to use it for bad. And so we don't have a choice whether we're in someone's hand or not. We're in someone's hand, but it's whose hand do we want to be in? I'm not trying to preach or anything, but it's just true, you know? And so,
Ashe.
Yay! Take us to church.
It's for our own good. It's like, it's for our own good to not root ourselves in that identity, because, like I said, if our happiness or our joy is rooted in that, it's going to be taken. At some point, you might become the most famous actor in the world. But if that was the key to happiness, every famous actor in the world would be happy. Every famous person would be happy. Or if it was money or notoriety, they'd be happy. But we know that's not the case.
No.
Right.
You know,
It's not.
going back to something that you said, I don't think we were recording it. You said every good thing has to come to an end, right?
Yeah.
And let's say like we're actors, or let's say like the most successful actor out there, they're gonna get old one day. They're not gonna like Sidney Poitier. Oh, I'm always in awe of how young he looked and how active he was, and then to see him in an old age, you're not gonna always be, you know, he's not gonna always be the guy, you know, that like the women loved and all the women on the island. Oh, Sidney. He wasn't that in the end, you know. And so if you tie your identity to an actor, even old age is going to take it away from you, you know?
And it is that thing. It's like you have to let it go. And when you let it go, then it comes.
Yeah.
But as long as we try to hold and hold and hold,
Yeah.
it like slips through your fingers.
Yeah. Like a butterfly.
So true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I like
I
it.
love that.
It's getting deep out here.
Let's
I
go.
know.
I know. Is this
I
supposed to
love
be funny?
it so much.
No.
No.
Ebbs and flows.
Wherever,
Okay.
yeah.
Had funny moments.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that time I forgot the history?
That was good.
Good times. Yeah.
Okay, Michael, how do you mentally and emotionally prepare for a role?
I don't know if this is like a good answer. It's the true answer. I just like go all in. Like I start to like just like mold into the character and go out in public, and I start with just like I put headphones in and I'll walk around the city and I'll pretend like I'm being interviewed by someone on the phone, but I'm in character. So I was working on a French character for class like a year ago, and I would go into like this. There's a bookstore on Second in Old City, and they think I'm French. Like they really think I'm French, and I just every time I go in, I have to like keep up that character.
That's amazing.
But I try to remove like every barrier for myself that would keep me from like becoming. I also don't know if I recommend that. Because you start to like, your brain starts like, I don't know who I am. Like I start to be like, wait, I'm doing things that like me as Michael would never do. It's kind of scary, but it's like for the movie, I guess. So
yeah. Well, do you find yourself though able to come back to
over time? Like I have to. The more awareness I get, I think it gets better. Like right now, I'm working on a character like who is struggling with drug addiction, and I was doing that like interview thing the other day. And afterwards, like the rest of the day, I felt so anxious, like so heavy. And at first I didn't realize, I just was like so lost in that feeling that I wanted to get out of it. I had to like remind myself, that's not really me, it's like the character. And I have to like let that go, and then it'll be there. But yeah, it's like awareness.
Wow. Yeah.
And on the one side, it is very difficult because we have this like gift that we have to learn how to like regulate and use. But at the same time, I don't know if you guys relate to this, but it's like kind of encouraging to see, without even trying, how powerful your brain and like your subconscious is. That without even realizing it, it just starts like happening. I realized that like in class, like I'll try to do a scene or something, and I'm like, I don't feel anything. And then after class is done, I start feeling everything. And it was, I think, like tension in me that was keeping it down. The emotion was there. It was like my own like insecurity.
So Michael, how do you handle the rejection that comes with our line of work? You know, I mean, we have to put ourselves out there so often and be so vulnerable so often, and sometimes it is rejected, you know. But what do you tell yourself? How do you get through it?
I think it's probably like a couple things. For me, it affects me a lot for sure. Like, but then I have to like take a step back and remind myself, like, you know, we were talking about Rick Rubin. I can't remember if that was before we started recording or not, but talking about Rick Rubin like not creating for the audience. And I think in that too, he like mentioned like we're creating something for God. It's like an offering to God, and if like I have to remind myself I'm not doing it for those people, like they don't know who I am, they don't know what I was created to do, and so I might not fit into their purpose or their vision, but it has no effect on me. Like, okay, I really believe like, you know, everything does happen for a reason. It's not just like a cliche. So okay, like for whatever reason, I wasn't right for that. Like it wasn't meant for me, and I gotta let it go. Does it affect me? Yeah. But I could still like hold that truth in me, even though it bothers me.
Love that.
And
right.
you know, like it's not like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this. Of course, like none of us want to be rejected.
Right.
But there's still like a truth higher than my feelings, and so I get knocked down, and then I got to get back up and encourage myself and move forward. And,
Samuel, my favorite. Let me tell you why. Because they're so clean and so beautiful and so framed well. I was like watching like
art.
Yes, like a painting in like each frame.
Thank you. Thank you.
So my question is, do you think your painting influences how you frame a shot?
100%. Yeah.
Talk to me.
100%. Because when you like study great painters, like, okay, I could spend like a year working on a painting off and on, and every single detail in the painting means something because you have to make a choice. Like, you could take a picture right now and there's just like a bunch of random stuff in the frame, but when you're painting, everything should mean something. And, you know, like Tony says, it should either add or subtract. And so I didn't have that attention to detail, I think, before I like started painting. And then now every frame I look at, I'm like, I gotta do this, like, everything is gonna help or not help. And so it's taught me so much patience, and not to just like rush to do something, to be so specific. And the viewer might not consciously notice all the details, but you could feel it when you watch. Your eye just like can pick up on it. So 100%.
I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. How often do you still paint? Do you paint a lot?
Pretty often, yeah.
Awesome.
It really depends. Like, I'll get into, like, right now I'm sculpting. So I'm, like, working on this big painting, but I've, like, it's still there. I'll work on it, like a couple days a week. But I'm trying to sculpt more, which is cool because it's, like, very physical.
Yeah.
Whereas painting is, like, you're trying to make the illusion of 3 dimensions, but sculpting is actually.
Right.
So,
what is it? What material is?
So right now it's clay, but it's like oil based. I didn't know anything about this before I started, but there's like water based and oil based. Oil based never dries, whereas water you have to like keep putting water on it to keep it wet, and then once it dries, it's like rock. So oil based they use like in a lot of like those claymation cartoons and stuff.
Okay.
So I'm using oil based, so I can just keep going back to it, and then once that's done, you make a mold out of that, and you make like plaster mold or bronze or whatever.
Oh, nice.
So it's clay. It's like literally working with like earth.
Oh, nice.
So cool.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's
How long have
a-
you been painting?
Since 2021.
What?
Which that's another. If you guys want to hear that, it's like another
Yes,
spiritual.
we do want to
Yeah.
hear that. Please.
Okay. Well, I have like the pictures, like the before and after, but so I was never able to draw, like never able to paint. My sister has that gift. I never had it. Like I tried, and I still have like a painting where I tried. It's like horrible. I remember my brother like making fun of me, and in 2021, at the time, I when I was younger, I lost weight. Like I lost like 60 pounds. So I've always struggled with body image, even since then, and I would wake up every morning and like look at myself in the mirror, like first thing. I don't know if you guys do this. Like, did I gain weight? Did I lose weight? Like, how do I look?
Yeah.
And talking about like joy or happiness. That was what my happiness was based off of, like how I look. And it depends on which mirror you're looking in. The lighting. It could be like you look great in 1 second, and 10 seconds later you don't look good.
Yeah.
So it was August of 2021. I was literally, there's like a rooftop at the place I lived at the time, and I was sitting up there and looking at myself in this reflection. And as I was looking at myself, like when God speaks, it's not like this voice from the outside. It's like in you, but you know it's not your voice. And he spoke to me and he said, until you give me what you're holding in your hands, I can't give you something better. And no one had to like explain it. I knew he was saying, until I like stop just focusing on my own looks and trying to like make myself feel good by my own looks, I'm not able to grab onto something better, something like more beneficial for me. And so I was still struggling with that, and cut to like September, I was on vacation with my parents, and one night I just got this desire to draw Jesus on a cross, and it was not good at all. Like it looked like a little kid did it. And that night I like was in the hotel room, I got down on my knees and I was like, all right, Lord, I'm going to surrender this to you. Like when I wake up tomorrow, first thing I do, I'm not going to look at myself in the mirror. Like I'm going to keep my shirt on. It sounds funny, like, but that's really what I used to do. I was like, I'm going to keep my shirt on. I'm just going to like spend time with you, and then we'll see what happens. Literally the next morning, I woke up at like 4 a.m., which never happens, and I got this desire to draw like Jesus on the cross again. And it was so good. Like I don't know if now's the time to show you the before and after, but it was like night and day. And my parents woke up and they were like, you drew this? I was like, yeah, and they like couldn't believe it. So I went back home, and my friend Eric, who's a painter, I like told him about this, and he was like, well, like, okay, if you have that gift, like you should just try painting. So I just like tried painting. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, all of a sudden I just like, it's like someone downloaded this understanding into me, or this gift. Doesn't mean I like don't struggle, but all of a sudden, like when I'm out walking, I like notice like, okay, there's a tree there and those leaves are green, but there's a billion different colors of green, and if there's a sunset, the leaves actually might look orange, like they're not just green. And I started like understanding color and reflection, and so it's pretty wild, and it just keeps growing and growing. And
Oh my gosh.
there's like a scripture, again, I'm not trying to like preach, but it's just like my life. There's a scripture, it's like whoever is in Christ is dead. They die and they become a new creation. And I've seen that in my life. Like I'm doing things I never did before. I wasn't an artist. I never made films, never painted, never sculpted. And it's like that person, that Michael is dead. And there's a new Michael, and the more I grow up in that Michael, the more I'm like becoming this person. It's pretty amazing.
That is amazing.
And people around me are like affirming it and affected by it, and so I'm like, that's how I know I'm like on the right path.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. It's like it feels like literal miracles, but it's pretty cool.
I love it.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's so inspiring.
Yeah, it's anything's possible.
It's inspiring
for
to
real.
listen to that voice a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, to trust that
Yeah,
voice.
to trust it.
Have you guys read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron?
I haven't. I don't think I had. No, I haven't.
I
read The
just
Artist.
got it because this girl, Kelly Holstrom, you guys might know
Yes,
Kelly.
love Kelly.
Yeah, she told me about it, and I had heard about it before.
Oh, does it take you like through exercises and things? Yeah, I did get it. I didn't read it yet.
I
but
just
I
started
did get
it.
Yeah.
But it's literally about like what you're saying, like listening to that voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would definitely
All
recommend
right, I'll
it.
pick it up.
download it.
I'll pick it on up then. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
Dope.
hella tight.
Yeah.
So, when you began acting and filmmaking, what were some of the things that you were looking to improve as an actor? And do you feel like you accomplished those goals that you had in the beginning? And if so, how did you go about doing it?
I think the biggest thing is probably like vulnerability. I was like obsessed with being able to cry. I was like, I just want to cry. I go to class, I'm like, I really want to cry today. I remember when I first started, I was doing a Dorn activity, and I asked Tony if I could wear headphones during my Dorn activity. He was like, I guess, sure. So I was like trying to play music during the Dorn activity to make myself cry, as opposed to like the person like talking to me, which is it's so cringe. It's like so cringe. I look back, like I would never go back to that time if someone paid me $1 million. It's miserable, man.
So you're basically like, okay, I'm supposed to listen to my partner, right? Let me
No.
put these headphones on.
Yeah. I was like, I just want to cry, and if I cry, everyone's like, dude, that guy's good. That guy's good.
When I first started, I noticed a lot of the women in the class could cry like at the every time, and I was like, man, they're so like tapped in and emotional.
Yeah.
Like, one day I want to get there.
Yeah, and I'm just like on stage angry all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's frustrating. But that's what I want. I think that was like the biggest thing I wanted to improve, and I think I have improved more in my life at being vulnerable than I have on screen.
So what was the process of being more vulnerable?
Like therapy, working through my own pain. There's this like lie that if I don't let myself be healed of past pain, it's probably gonna be better for acting. That's a lie. It's a lie.
I never thought of it.
Because if a doctor's sick, he can't heal people. He has to be healed first.
True.
I guess. Okay.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you've given a lot of good advice that I feel like new actors would really benefit from, but I am curious to know if there's any specific advice that you would give to people pursuing acting, starting out. And
I think the thing I've learned the most, maybe I'm learning the most right now, is it's like not about me. It's really not. And I don't mean that in like a false humility type of way. Like all the gifts I have are not for me. And it's very cheesy, but one day I like felt like, okay, it's super, but a flower never looks at itself. The flower's beauty is for other people to see. And it's
Wow.
not concerned at all with itself, how it looks, how it's doing. Oh, I'm beautiful today. Or, oh no, I'm starting to like wilt. It's solely for people to look at. And that's us. All of our gifts, the way we look, the way we behave, it's not for us. And anxiety, fear, selfishness, all of that is rooted in me, what I want to do, what will benefit me. And again, bringing back the dichotomy, when we let go of me, myself, I, what's going to be best for me, we benefit.
yeah.
We are filled with the most joy because our attention's not on ourselves. We don't fear because we're not even thinking about ourselves. What people will think of me if I say this or do this or don't do this. You're so concerned with the other person that it's not about you anymore, and it benefits everybody else and us. So I think that's what I'm learning is like, it's being an artist is so sacrificial. Like I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to like, if I'm like working through pain, I don't want to go and do a movie where I'm gonna have to be miserable again. I like just worked through that.
I know.
But there's people out there who they can't speak for themselves.
Yeah.
They need someone to speak for them, and
Yeah.
that's the gifts that we've been given
Yeah.
to speak for them. And so it's just sacrifice ourselves, like lay our lives down for them, and
It's kind of like a drawbridge. Like you experience this, so now you're going to put it in your work so someone else can see it who's not as far, and maybe they can cross that bridge that you left
yeah,
easier.
exactly.
But we're going to have to climb down that mountain, then climb back up.
And what would stop that? Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear is don't do that. You're gonna look dumb, or you're gonna fail.
You don't know what's down there. Like,
Yeah,
don't go.
don't do it. That's stupid. And I think that fear is a real voice. It's a real like spirit. That's what I believe. It's a spirit of fear, and its goal is to divide and conquer and keep us in the dark. Fear keeps you in the dark. Like fear keeps you out of the light. Literally, you want to keep things in the dark. You don't want to share them. Light is you share it, you bring it out into the world, and it creates unity. It makes people feel safe enough to come out of the dark. It makes people feel safe enough to tell their story, to heal. And so it takes one person to step out into the light first, and then it starts bringing light to other people. But if we stay in the dark, other people will stay in the dark. And it's like either one grows. Either one grows, you know?
Yep.
You know?
So, for the last question of the Let Me Ask You Something segment, what does success look like for you, to you? You know, like what would you see in your mind that says, okay, I feel successful, or maybe it is now, maybe I don't know, but
I think for me, it's like walking out what I feel my life is, what I was created to do. I think that's what it is. I don't, would it be great if I had a lot of money? And I don't know, honestly. Maybe. I think it would be, but it might be worse.
listen, Biggie said, more money, more problems.
Yeah,
You never know.
For real.
You know?
Like, for a while, I was like, oh, once I have that, or once I'm a great actor. But then I, like, noticed one day, I was like, wait, most people who are successful, or, like, they have money, they don't seem happy all the time.
Right.
And if they're not happy all the time, then it must not be the money that's going to make them happy, because they have it already.
Right.
Sorry, what was the question? Oh, yeah, success.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like, running the race that I feel has, like, been put before me is to, like, to create art that will heal, to, like, specifically, I feel like right now I'm called to speak for people who can't speak for themselves. And it seems like it's playing out in my life that I'm supposed to speak for, like, people who struggle with drug addiction or addictions. Jimmy passing away. I made a movie with, do you guys know Ed Wasser?
Yeah.
We made a movie together and he passed away, and I think it was from alcohol. He was like, I don't know the details, so I probably shouldn't speak on it, but I think it was that. So it seems like I'm supposed to speak for these people right now in my life. So I think that's, to me, success. And if people watch my movies, or I find success in the eyes of the world, would it be nice? Yeah, but it's not. That's not the goal.
Yeah.
At least it shouldn't be.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
I know we said that was the last question, but I have another one for you.
Okay.
Let's say, I don't know if it's a similar question as the last one, but let's say at the end of your life, you are 115 years old and you pass.
That's too long.
You find yourself back in that movie theater. What would you like your life story to have been, like what you would like the meaning of your life to have impact other people?
That's a really good question. I think that I would like it to be characterized by, like, I wasn't afraid to love people. And by love people, I mean, I think the greatest form of loving is, like, you are willing to lay down your life for somebody else. And I think a lot of times, like, we get in the habit of, well, this isn't, like, going to cost me too much, so, like, it makes sense for me to be more worried about myself. But the very definition of love is that it will cost me something, but I'll decide to do X, Y, Z anyway. And so I would like, at my funeral, for people to tell stories of things I maybe not did for them, but how I love them in ways that cost me. Not to say, look how great Michael was, but to inspire others, hopefully, to do that too. Because everything in our culture tells us to be more focused with ourselves. That's a Western culture mindset. That's like the culture we live in, but that's not the way it is in all the worlds.
Yeah.
The Eastern culture is very much more what's better for the community, what's better for the family.
Yeah.
And that can be extreme too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I relate to that.
Yeah.
And so I think there has to be a middle ground. But I would like for people, bro, like no one is going to be like, man, he had such a nice house. Like imagine at my funeral, someone gets on stage and someone's like, man, he had such a nice house. People are like, what? Like,
Right.
you know, what lasts is how we loved people. Like, that's what lasts. The material stuff is not. The moment you die, none of it matters.
Yep.
So, I don't know, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, this game is called Fortunately, Unfortunately. Okay? So, you start with a premise. The first person starts with a premise. An example of the premise is, once there were two identical twins who could always hear each other's thoughts, right? So, the person starts with a premise, and then the next person continues the story for the worst, right? They say, for example, unfortunately, one day, one of them got the Price is Right theme song stuck in his head, right? That's the unfortunately part. Then the next person turns the story around for the better, right? The next person could say something like, fortunately, this gave the other a great idea. A road trip to Los Angeles to be in the live studio audience, right? And then you keep going back and forth from unfortunately to fortunately until the story ends and you see how good or how bad the story can end.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I think I have one.
Oh, okay. I'm nervous.
Okay, should I
Me
start?
too.
Yeah.
Okay. One day, Eddie Murphy found himself on Michael Paler's yacht. The ramen of the seas.
Can I go?
No, it's Salome's turn. Salome goes next.
I'll give it to you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Eddie was very disappointed that Michael forgot the history of ramen and stormed off the yacht.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's a good inciting incident.
That is.
Yeah.
Damn. Fortunately, Michael had legit Wi-Fi where he could just look up the history of ramen right then and there. And Eddie came right back to the yacht.
Unfortunately, Michael did not use the Wi-Fi. Did he use it? Or he didn't use it? It's my story. Unfortunately, Michael didn't think. Fuck, I fucking up the story. Okay, unfortunately, I need a second. Go ahead, Michael.
I go?
Yeah.
Wait, which one is it for? Unfortunate?
Unfortunately,
You?
yeah. So
Are you skipping yourself?
Yeah.
So unfortunately.
Unfortunately, okay. Dang.
Unfortunately, this shit is hard.
Isn't it?
Dang, I don't know.
Start a new one if you want.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you want to start the new one? You wanna do
Sure.
it? Okay.
New premise alert.
Ba, 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 ba.
I kind of feel the need to say once upon a time, but that's fine. Okay. Robert. Does it have to be one of these people? Us?
No, we just.
You judged Robert.
Do we know this, Robert?
Robert was excited that he was invited to his co-worker's Christmas party.
Okay, that's good. That's pretty okay.
Robert was excited. Oh,
He was invited to his court. Okay.
no. Oh,
Unfortunately, Robert had COVID. So he had to stay home and watch his favorite movie, Jurassic Park.
Fortunately, Robert's co-worker, who has a crush on him, on Robert, came over to bring Robert soup.
Unfortunately, Robert's coworker who had a crush on him got COVID and died. Dang.
Damn, you ruined Robert's life. That's it. Story over.
The end.
Sorry. Dang, COVID kills, man. Be careful out there.
It does. Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Dang.
Dara, you come up with the premise.
Oh shit. This isn't how the game was supposed to go. Okay. Fine.
Improvise.
Improvise. Wasn't that like our line
Yeah.
from Robert Hudson's episode?
Okay. One day. This is really hard.
It is.
Oh my God. Okay. One day, Julia.
Do we know it?
No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just making a name up.
Oh.
Okay. One day, Julia got up the courage to tell her crush how much she liked him.
Unfortunately, Julia had to battle other women who had a crush on her crush.
Ooh.
Competition.
Fortunately, she had accidentally eaten a cookie with a lot of testosterone and steroids in it. So she obliterated these other women who, you know,
I like this.
yeah.
I like this a lot.
Unfortunately, she was arrested and charged with manslaughter.
Sorry, Julia.
Damn, Julia, I tried.
Be careful what you put in your body, folks.
She had roid rage.
You are what you eat.
Oh my God.
She went Hulk Hogan on him.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, tell me, you're up for the premise.
yeah. Once upon a time, years ago, I'm lost. Oh, once upon a time, years ago, there was this little girl who lived in a forest, and she needed a boy to come to the forest to set her free, so she would sing songs, beautiful songs, to get him to come to the forest, like nearby woodsmen to come to the forest to rescue her.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, rescue her from what?
She just needed to be rescued because now she's like in her 30s and she really needs to be rescued.
Unfortunately, she learned that her only neighbor was Shrek.
Oh. Damn.
That's okay. I mean, you could put a paper bag over his head. Fortunately. Fortunately.
Plastic bag.
Fortunately, Shrek made a deal with a witch to change him into a handsome, rich prince.
Oh.
Unfortunately, that came with a micro penis. And he could not satisfy.
Hey.
You ruined my story! You're supposed to be my friend! I'm sorry!
It's hard out here. It's not hard at all. Dang.
I'm so sorry. Damn, it's fucked up to be the unfortunate person.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That's a great game.
That was
Yeah.
a great game.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
Sorry, little girl that lives in the woods.
I know. Sorry.
That brings us to our last segment, Michael, which is words of inspiration. Would you like to leave our listeners with any encouragement?
Yeah, I think I would just say, okay, I'll say for myself lately, I've forgotten how to like have fun in life. Like I've become so serious. Like, and I was around like some kids lately and I was like, dang, they're like having so much fun. So it's okay to like have fun and be childlike and play, and I think that would really help create more as artists to be more childlike.
Yeah.
You know?
Love that.
Thank you, Michael, for coming.
Yes, thank you
Can I press the
so
button?
much.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Please press the button.
Okay, which one?
button is it?
Oh
Should I
shit.
just keep pressing
It's the
different ones
bottom
until I find
right.
it?
This one.
Yup.
Okay, Michael. So let's say goodbye. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you
Yes,
for having me. This was
Yes.
great.
It was
Yes.
It was an honor.
Yes. Love you guys.
Keep creating.
And we'll see you next time.
Go get him. Okay, I'm gonna press it now.